Senators and economic managers warn on the adverse economic effects of the reenacted budget. Facebook and Instagram applications experience outages around the world. Prices in some water refilling stations in Mandaluyong City increase. And Y News anchor William Theo awarded as one of the Philippine Empowered Men of the Year. Good evening. President Rodrigo Duterte's economic managers and some senators warned on the negative effects of the continuing reenacted budget on the country's economy and infrastructure programs. Nel Maribuhok tells us why.
It is likely the government will still operate under a reenacted budget until August this year. This because until now the leaderships of both houses of Congress have apparently failed to resolve their issues after the meeting with President Rodrigo Duterte last Tuesday night. Malacanang has expressed its frustration over the delayed passage of the 2019 budget.
Kung ang tao magsasuffer, di siyempre, apektuhan lahat siya. No, hindi ba, one-time news briefing I said, there should be one department who should be responsible for all the projects all over the Philippines. Yun lang ang trabaho nila, iikot sila para sabihin lang, ito, kailangan ng, di ba? Para tingnan natin kung may tatakbo pa sa Kongreso. Palagi tayong nagiging hostage ng away nila.
The Senate has asked the lower house leadership to restore the ratified 3.75 trillion peso 2019 proposed budget and to remove any realignments and itemization that had been allocated to House Speaker Gloria Arroyo's ally congressman. The Senate leadership maintains that such post-BICAM amendments are clearly unconstitutional. According to Senator Panfilo Lacson, meanwhile, aside from the budget itemization under the Health Enhancement Program, a portion of the Department of Public Works and Highways budget has been reallocated. This is what Senator Lacson said to President Duterte during their meeting in Malacanang.
Sabi ko kay Presidente, Mr. President, ang masama po dito, siyempre, legacy program ninyo yung build. And dahil nagalaw yung substantial amount of 72 billion, nire-allocate nila sa mga distrito, madidiscarrel ngayon yung build program.
The said continuity of reenacted budget would result in negative impacts on the Philippine economy aside from the effects of the realignment of budget allocated to the administration's build program, the senator said. Under the reenacted budget, the government's key programs and major infrastructure projects would be unfunded. According to Senate Committee on Economic Affairs Chairman Sherwin Gatchalian, the gross domestic product or GDP growth of the country may slow down to 6%. Meanwhile, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Ernesto Perña forecast a 4.9 to 5.1% GDP if a reenacted budget continues until August. But for the entire year, the GDP growth may decline to 4.2 to 4.9%. In 2018, the country's full-year GDP growth rate is at 6.2%. This is lower than the government's revised target of 6.5 to 6.9%. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Facebook and Instagram users in several parts of the world reported that the social network sites were inaccessible late Wednesday and early morning Thursday. The California giant, which has more than 2 billion users, acknowledged the outage and is working to fix the problem. A short time later, Facebook indicated the outage was not related to an attack aimed at overwhelming the said network. While Facebook's main service appeared to load, users reported not being able to post. Those on Instagram, meanwhile, were not able to refresh feeds or post new materials. Facebook Messenger's desktop version did not load, but the mobile app appeared to allow the sending of some messages. However, users reported glitches with other kinds of content, such as images. WhatsApp, Facebook's other messaging app, had similar problems. According to the website downdetector.com, outages were heaviest in North America and Europe. Users in the Philippines, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Japan also experienced the glitch. More areas in Metro Manila are bracing for longer hours of water service interruption as Manila water supply continues to be insufficient. John Ano explains why.
More Manila Water customers are expected to experience long hours of water service interruptions starting today, based on the latest Manila Water advisory through its social media accounts. More parts of Metro Manila will experience 6 to almost 20 hours of no water supply, including Makati, Manila, Marikina, Parañaque, Pateros, San Juan, Taguig, and Quezon City. Greater portions of Pasig and Mandaluyong cities remain to be affected by the water service interruption. The recurring water problem has made residents bracing for longer water woes. Some barangay officials have advised their constituents ahead of the water service interruption through pamphlets. Others went house to house to notify residents.
Manila Water for schedule of water interruption starting.
Nag-abisyo na kagad ang barangay, yung kapitan namin active dito sa amin. Kaya maaga kami nag-iipon para laging handa.
On the other hand, there are residents who expressed dismay, claiming that Manila Water had not advised them of the scheduled water service interruption.
Hindi nga po kami nakapaghanda kasi bigla lang napakahirap po na walang tubig.
The Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System, or MWSS for its part, has measures set in place to restore the water supply in affected areas in Metro Manila. The MWSS also calls on Maynila to share 50 million liters of water per day to Manila Water to augment the latter's deficit. This includes the deployment of Maynilas water tanks that can serve around 50,000 households of Manila Water customers. Though Maynilad will share its water supply with Manila Water, the MWSS assures this will not affect Maynilad's customers.
We made sure that it will not affect their consumers and be certified that indeed they can afford to give 50 milliliters per day to Manila Water in the meantime without affecting their own.
The MWSS has also directed Manila Water to activate and utilize its water treatment plant in Cardona, Rizal, which can produce 100 million liters of water a day.
I want to assure the public and our customers that Manila Water is not sleeping and making sure that we pinpoint which customer area is affected on a daily basis. We redirect resources to provide support for these affected customers as we continue to work on additional supply.
Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Some water refilling stations in areas affected by the recurring water service interruption increase the prices of their products. The Department of Trade and Industry, however, warns such establishments who will take advantage of the prevailing water crisis. Monokson tells us why.
The telephone inside J. Tandayo's water refilling station kept on ringing today. His staff received over a dozen calls from various people with only one question: when will their ordered water arrive? The night before, Jay went to Sampaloc, Manila until late night just to get water to sell in their water station in Mandaluyong City. He noted that because of weak water pressure, it takes several hours before their water tank in Mandaluyong City gets filled. A gallon of water in Jay's water station is regularly priced at 30 pesos. But with the water shortage, Jay has no other choice but to increase the price of a gallon of water to 50 pesos to cover the cost of diesel used in importing water from neighboring Manila City. Jay said they are willing to work longer hours just to address their customers' demand.
Mahirap po dahil siyempre naapektuhan yung negosyo natin. Kaya ang ginagawa po namin, nag-aangkat kami sa Sampaloc para lang meron kami mga continuous supply. Sa ngayon po ay hindi namin masabi na kumikita, hindi rin namin masabing nalulugi, pero siguro break even.
Mandaluyong City resident Ariel Blaza, on the other hand, is prepared to pay more just to have decent water to drink. He said, nothing but dirty and rusty water flows out their faucet at home.
Gigising ka ng madaling araw para mag-ipulan ng tubig. Parang ihi lang ang lumalabas sa gripo. Minsan marumi pa. Kalakalawang, ganun. Sir, wala naman tayong magagawa. Talaga kailangan natin ng tubig. Saka kung hindi ka bibili ng tubig, iinumin mo, di baka mas mahirap pa. Baka magkasakit ka pa. Lalo mas malaki gagastusin mo.
Andrea Bernasol managed to carry a gallon of water to use at home despite her small build. Just like other consumers, she is willing to buy water at a higher price just to have clean water to use since the water coming from their tap seems unclean.
Syempre, wala namang magagawa eh. Parang for safety and ano na din. Puro kasi kami babae sa bahay eh, so walang choice.
Apart from the higher price of water is the increased price of water containers in several stores. In Mandaluyong City, a water container which usually costs only 150 to 200 pesos now costs 350 pesos. The Department of Trade and Industry or DTI meanwhile warns water station owners not to increase the price of bottled water.
Hindi sila pwedeng magsamantala dahil papasok na ang DTI. Hindi porke refilling lang sila ay hindi na namin sakop. Siyempre, the fact na binubotan nila yan para inumin, papasok na ngayon ang jurisdiction ng DTI.
The DTI said they will make rounds to inspect water refilling stations in areas affected by the water shortage to check if their price increase is reasonable. It is also noticeable that a number of laundry shops and water stations in the city have been closed for days because of the recurring water shortage. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Mandaluyong City.
The water level in La Mesa Dam has now reached 68.74 meters according to the report of the Philippine Atmospheric Geophysical Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA on Thursday, making it the lowest in 21 years. It reached the recorded lowest level of 68.75 meters in 1998. PAGASA also reported a decrease in the water levels of other dams including Angat Dam at 199.63 meters, Binga Dam at 572.24 meters, and San Roque Dam at 264.79 meters. Meanwhile, dams with increased water levels include Ipo Dam at 101.06 meters, Amboklao Dam at 749.21 meters, and Caliraya Dam at 287.61 meters. PAGASA estimated that severe drought might continue until June. Y News anchor William Theo and Good Morning Kuya host Dr. Joseph Lee bags Empowered Men of the Year Award. Here's why from John Nano.
The Philippine Man and Women of the Year 2019 awardees were revealed Wednesday night at the Music Museum Service Road, Green Hills, San Juan City. And two of our very own kasangbahays brought home the bacon. They are Good Morning Kuya host Dr. Joseph Lee and Y News anchor William Theo. Founder Richard Ferdinand Hinola himself is impressed with the qualities the two men possess.
Well, si Doc, napaka masigasig na doktor, napaka simple at napakabait at saka wala kang itatanong. And then Mr. William Theo is very smart, very articulate, and maganda rin ang puso.
Both UNTV talents are thankful for yet another recognition.
Lagi-lagi natin naiisipin, kagaya ng sabi ni Kuya, araw-araw kasi ay dapat bukal ang puso natin at malaki ang puso natin sa pagtulong ng ating mga kababayan. Lalo na ako bilang isang doktor, siguro importanteng malawak ang ating kaisipan na lalo na sa ating mga pasyenteng mahihirap na dapat natin tulungan.
And I thank Kuya Daniel for all of the opportunities that he has given me to hone me as a person, as a broadcaster, as a news anchor, as a reporter, and most especially as a trained rescuer. And this is something that I always hold close to my heart.
The qualities an empowered women and man must have include an inspiring life story, successful career, a heart for helping people. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up from where Rina Villamor Camara left off. I'm Angelo Diego Castro III. Here are the headlines.
If the source is puno and another concessionaire has puno also, ay bakit naman yung isa nga hindi? Ayun ang logic doon.
Malacanang raises the possibility of artificial water shortage in some parts of Metro Manila. Congress seeks probe on the water crisis. President Rodrigo Duterte to dismiss another set of officials. And the iconic Wish Bus is set to serenade Davaoeños with free concert featuring local artists. Malacanang mentions the possibility of artificial water shortage in some parts of Metro Manila. The Office of the President is set to investigate on this issue. Rosalie Cos explains why.
The effects of the water shortage in various parts of Metro Manila are getting worse. According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, even he has experienced it. Secretary Panelo said their water supply was suddenly cut when he was taking a bath this morning. Malacanang mentions the possibility of artificial water shortage in some parts of Metro Manila and that an investigation by the Office of the President on this problem is underway.
Ay, nga, di ba sabi ko, inefficiency yan, mismanaged.
So therefore, the water shortage is...
di artificial lang yun. Kung ganon. If the source is puno and another concessionaire has puno also, ay bakit naman yung isa nga hindi? Ayun ang logic doon.
On Sunday, some parts of Metro Manila served by water concessionaire Manila Water suddenly began experiencing no water supply. Manila Water representatives have explained the water service interruption is caused by El Nino, increasing number of service connections and delayed water infrastructure projects. Panelo also warned that those behind the crisis, once proven of manipulation, will be held accountable.
Yung concessionaire, sir, pwede silang ma-held accountable for it.
Siyempre, kung silang may kasalanan, we'll make sure that they will be accountable.
The palace official also pointed out that each city and province should have its own water reservoir to address water shortage. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Both houses of Congress seek to conduct an investigation on the current water shortage in Metro Manila and nearby areas. Some lawmakers also call on the government to certify urgent a bill creating the Department of Disaster and Resilience. Tell us why, Grace Casin.
Congress will invite the Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System or MWSS, water concessionaires Maynilas and Manila Water, and National Water Regulatory Board or NWRB to explain the prevailing water shortage in Metro Manila and neighboring areas. In a resolution recently filed by Senate President Vicente Soto III, he stated that thousands of households, schools, and even hospitals in Metro Manila are now affected. In a statement, he pointed out that the water crisis may bring more serious problems to the people if left unresolved. In the lower house, there is a separate resolution calling for an investigation on the crisis. Meanwhile, one Pacman Party List Representative Mikey Romero calls on Malacanang to certify urgent the Department of Disaster and Resilience bill. This is for the government to immediately respond to different kinds of calamities. Under the bill, the national government will be primarily responsible for disaster preparedness, prevention, mitigation, response, recovery, and rehabilitation. It will also include addressing the possible effects of El Nino phenomenon. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Health begins to implement policies to save water in Metro Manila hospitals. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Department of Health will be strict in hospitals affected by the water shortage. According to Health Secretary Francisco Duque III, they will allow only one watcher for every patient beginning today. Secretary Duque said this move aims to conserve water supply in hospitals.
Sana po maintindihan ng mga magulang kasi kung hayaan natin na lahat tatlo, tag-apat, ubos ang tubig natin.
Mahirap po talaga kasi konting kilos tubig po yung kailangan kasi kada hahawa ka sa pasyente, kailangan magugas ka muna ng kamay. Kaya malaki po talagang problema pag tubig na wala.
5 hospitals in Metro Manila are prioritized by Manila Water because of the delicate conditions of the patients confined there.
Rizal Medical Center, the National Center for Mental Health, this hospital, NKTI, the PCMC, as well as the Quirino Memorial Medical Center.
According to National Kidney and Transplant Institute or NKTI Executive Director Dr. Rosemary Rosette Liquete, If the water supply of their hospital will be cut or reduced, dialysis patients will be greatly affected. She explained they will have to shift to peritoneal dialysis amid the ongoing water issue.
Yung peritoneal dialysis fluid, yun yung ilalagay sa sa abdominal cavity ng pasyente, and then magwa-wash out yon paglabas niya to empty na lahat yung mga toxins ng body. So it doesn't require water to the machine. So ang kailangan lang doon, mga hand washing.
And we may have to suspend and slow down the dialysis. It doesn't have to shut down everything, but we really need prioritize the critical patients.
Secretary Duque also said that the measures being placed will be adopted by other hospitals. Meanwhile, the administrations of East Avenue Medical Center and Philippine Lung Center of the Philippines assured their operations are normal and they have enough water supply as they met with the Health Secretary this morning. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
People in different parts of the globe find ways to solve problems in water. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Clean water supply remains to be a major problem not only in the Philippines but also in other parts of the world. Based on data from the United Nations, around 2.1 billion people worldwide have no access to safe drinking water, and around 1.5 million children below 5 years old die from diarrheal diseases yearly. There are parts of the globe where water is hard to come by, especially in mountainous areas and desert lands. But there are individuals who have made innovations and inventions to solve this global issue. In Yemen and in Morocco, nets have been set up as fog harvester. People in these two countries use the water they collect for their daily activities including farming. And in the Philippines, as what UNTV News documented in 2015, Ernesto Labuntog invented a portable water treatment device. This equipment can clean even flood water. To demonstrate how his device works, Labuntog collected water from the VMMC golf course in Quezon City and even added soil. Chlorine was used to kill bacteria, while a coagulant was added to separate water from other elements. The sampling was followed by a potability test to make sure that the procedure was done properly. Then he poured the water into his device. To make sure the water is safe and potable, he personally drank it. He said that to produce a gallon of clean water only cost him 25 centavos at that time.
So yun yung nagpapatunay na ang tubig na yung maduduming ng kinukuha natin ay nainom after going through the process. Yun.
1 unit of his portable water treatment device can serve 10 households for 6 months. Labuntog said his invention have served victims of Tropical Cyclone Pablo in Compostela Valley, as well as victims of the cholera outbreak in Catanduanes. He had introduced his invention to some government offices but received slight attention. Some foreign entities have shown interest in his device but he declined their offers. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
President Rodrigo Duterte once again hints another set of public officials might be relieved from their posts. The president also slams opposition senatorial bills. Mirasola Bogadil will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte is likely to relieve more public officials from their posts in the coming days. This as the said officials are not working with the administration in its fight against corruption, the president said.
And I will be firing another set of officials. I'm sorry. Mahirap kasi. Yan lang ang ano ko. Now, if you want to help me run the government at yung programa ko.
Although the president did not reveal any names, he has for multiple times criticized some officials in the Department of Agrarian Reform because of their inaction on land conversion cases. It can be noted that the president has been directing the department to distribute idle government-owned land to farmers.
You know, ako lang ang presidente ngayon. I have distributed almost 160,000 hectares.
Meanwhile, President Duterte slams the opposition's senatorial bets. The chief executive said 8 derecho candidates have not made any significant projects.
Bigyan mo ako ng isang project na mga 8 derecho that has a meaningful impact on the lives of the Filipino. Sige nga.
The president made the statements during the PDP Laban's campaign sortie yesterday in Cauayan City, Isabela. Mirasol Abugadil, UNTV, News and Rescue.
An Astana Pro Team rider still overall lead after the fourth stage of the Paris-Nice cycle race. Meanwhile, Roger Federer and Dominic Thiem both cruised to the quarterfinal round of the BNP Paribas Open in California. Victor Cosari will tell us why.
In cycling, Astana Pro Team's Danish rider Magnus Cort Nielsen wins stage 4 of the Paris-Nice on Wednesday, beating Belgian Thomas de Gent and Italian Giulio Ciccone to the finish line. Overall leader Dylan Groeneweg had a disastrous day after he struggled to keep up with the peloton and saw himself lose his overall lead and free fall down the general classification, trailing the new leader, Team Sky's Michał Kwiatkowski, by several minutes. Stage 5 on Thursday takes place on the southern town of Barbentane in a 25.5-kilometer time trial. And in tennis, Austria's Dominic Thiem beat Croatia's Ivo Karlovic in straight sets on Wednesday to reach the quarterfinals of the Indian Wells ATP tournament in California, where he will face Gael Monfils, who crushed Philip Kohlschreiber on court 1. Thiem, the number 7 seed, won the match against 40-year-old Karlovic 6-4, 6-3. Elsewhere, Swiss star Roger Federer cruised past Briton Kyle Edmund at the Indian Wells round of 16 on Wednesday with a straight sets 6-1, 6-4 win in just over an hour of play. The world number 4 held his composure to book a spot in the quarterfinals against Poland's 22-year-old Hubert Hurkacz, who beat Canadian Denis Shapovalov. Victor Posare, UNTV News and Rescue.
Wishers, brace yourselves as the iconic Wish Bus brings you nothing but entertainment and original Filipino music right in the heart of Davao. Here's why from Nina Armilio.
After pit stops in Naga City, Tacloban City, and Surigao City, it's now time for Davao City to brace itself as the one-of-a-kind Wish Bus visits the durian capital of the Philippines. After an 8-hour trip from Surigao City, the much-awaited iconic Wish Bus arrived in Davao City last night. As part of its provincial tour, the Wish Bus is set to make pit stops in various parts of the city, with a lot in store for wishers.
Excited ko maari ang bus kay ganahan ko sa mga singers nila nya nindot pud ang sounds kani sa ilang bus. Makita jud ang sa kanindot sa imong tingog ba sa dito sa bus.
Excited na kami kana makita namang Wish Bus man ay mga artista dito kana magkanta-kanta, lingaw kayo na.
On Wish 107.5.
The Wish Bus and Wish 107.5 will celebrate the month-long Araw ng Davao 2019 together with the entire city and the city government through mini concerts, road shows, and indie rock band Up Dharma Down's concert in Light Garden Park at the Santa Ana Wharf to rock the city.
Of course it will. People always like watching yung mga shows, yung mga concerts and stuff. And it's going to be a totally new place kasi for the first time we're going to hold a concert in Santa Ana Wharf. And we're very, very excited about that.
And being an FM station with a heart, the Wish Bus's tour is coupled with Biyaheng Tagapagpagaling Medical Mission along with TJ Monterda's digital concert. Nino Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Up next on Y News. The U.S. joins other nations in grounding 737 MAX jets after a second fatal crash. 2 K-pop stars under police questioning as sex scandals rock South Korea's music world. And the Philippines' Nelson Villanueva dominates chess masters meet in Vietnam.